How's it going, guys? My name is Frank and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing our monthly analysis for the month of December. That's December 2025. So we're rearing towards the end of the year, Christmas, New Year's, all the fun stuff. But of course the markets never stop. So we're going to jump in, basically just take a look at what's happened in the last couple of months, what we expect to happen in the future, and sort of where we are in the cycle as a whole. So if you do enjoy this sort of content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We are just over 1,000 subs, so I want to thank you guys for helping me achieve that. And of course, let's keep pushing up higher. Let's go for 2,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever you might have it whenever you're watching this video. But yeah, please do consider subscribing, hitting the like button if you do enjoy all that fun stuff. But let's just jump straight into the charts. So as we've been following forever and ever, our 4-year cycle, so nothing's really changed on this. We are firmly of the belief that we've ticked into sort of that, down year sort of time period based off the 4-year cycle. That's sort of where we're up to. You can see, I haven't moved this chart for, well over a year now, maybe 2 years since I sort of first put this chart together. I haven't really moved anything, just outside of, adding these green months up and things like that. So basically, we're of the belief, 4-year cycle, all done and dusted. We're looking at some early signs of the bear market as well. You can see that 50-week moving average, which is on the screen there. We closed well below that, so that's concerning as well. We're getting quite close to these monthly swing lows. Just here, like if we were to break something like that, I think 100% all done and dusted. The other thing is that I'm sort of watching is this bearish divergence on the RSIs. It's quite a clear downtrend despite price continuing to tick up. That to me is another early indicator that things are probably just going to start to slide from here. So in my opinion, not facts, not science or anything, not a professional advice, of course, it does look like that this could be the top, and that might be all she wrote for Bitcoin, at least in the longer term sort of macro picture, that this cycle has likely come up. We've topped, and we're probably going to look to continue down from here, for some period of time. There will be up times in that, there's no doubt. If we go and we pull up, I'll see this one. This one should be our short-term chart. This will do. Oh, where are we? We've got to zoom in. Oh, we got a bunch of lines. I didn't mean to move that. Do that. Take it down to the daily. If you have a look at it on the daily chart, there's a few lines that we have been following. You can see we basically, basically a triple top along here. I'll delete that now, it's pretty irrelevant. But what we're seeing, what I've been looking at now is sort of like a short-term rally. You can see that we posted here on the 27th of November, which is back here, actually at the top, but is what it is, a bull trap, right? And that's sort of what we're looking at here, that this is potentially going to be a short-term rally. You can see that we've just been hard rejected off the first 50% at 94,000. So we sort of looking at that as a possible rejection zone. The next one comes in at 103,000, so you can see 50% from the top. Oh, I think I just moved something to the bottom. Straight down the middle, $103,400. So there is a bit of congestion there as well. Sort of this low, some highs, some lows. So that's sort of, if we are able to break above that 94k short-term rally, if you're looking into short-term trading, you might be looking then at pushing on to sort of that 103,000. If it breaks 103,000 and sort of forms a base, like I guess the case could be made that it's going to continue up higher. Possibly breaking new all-time highs, but at this point in time, that is a long way away. And as we said, we're sort of looking at this being, some sort of bull trap that we're looking at here. So, of course, other big resistance, the 100,000, pretty well clean broke through that. So that was quite concerning. 100,000 has been quite a pivot point for this cycle, holding below it, unable to get above, just able to get above. Now back below it all of a sudden. So that's sort of what we're looking at. So long term looks like it's probably done and dusted for Bitcoin, but in the short term, do expect I do see the possibility of sort of like a bull trap or a dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it. You can see the RSIs, everything's sort of reset a little bit of fear in the market, probably time just to sucker a few more people in and then continue down, in my opinion. If we have a look at ETH now here, we're sort of, of course, if we think Bitcoin's going down, right, we probably think that everything in general is going to be going down. That's the same sort of case for Ethereum at this point in time. It's pretty hard to say, that this is a very healthy looking chart. It's been in this trading range forever. Feels like forever, right? It's been a few years now. Just marginally broken all-time high, has since come, broken down on this sort of larger time frame, 50%. It's not looking great for Ethereum, and Ethereum's not going to recover if Bitcoin doesn't recover. So I wouldn't even, like, personally right now, I wouldn't even look at sort of buying ETH. If you're going to be buying cryptos, at least just buy Bitcoin, right? There's less downside risk, and if it, the only reason these coins are going to move is if Bitcoin goes up. So ultimately, Bitcoin's a bit more of a safer asset, of course, just in general, but particularly right now. So I'd be looking at that. ETH not looking in a particularly great spot. You can see it is just in a large downtrend. Maybe, as I said, same thing, right? Get some sort of, short-term rally into, a 50% level. If we just look at something like this, I could see it sort of coming up, suckering a few people in, and then continuing down, something like that. But, it's sort of hard to say. There has been a lot of bullish macro news that I've just been seeing come through, like quantitative tightening has ended, and, they're talking about, removing income taxes and, all these sort of things, right? But I think that's just a lot of words, right? That ultimately all these things have already been priced into the market. And what I think it is showing with these things, the assets sort of starting to roll over, is that you can't, you can't keep adding stimulus, right, to the markets. They're already overheated. The stimulus isn't going to help at this point in time, in my opinion. It might improve sentiment short term, and as I said, sort of create a bull trap. But I'm not of the longer term outlook that things are going to continue to go up. We believe that longer term, for the next sort of couple of years, maybe, that things will be likely going down, particularly with, of course, the 18.6 year cycle is ending soon. So, we're expecting sort of real estate to drop off as well, stocks, the whole shebang, right? So that's sort of where we're up to at the moment with ETH and Bitcoin. We'll have a look at a couple of our altcoins. So we'll have a look at Crow. We've followed Crow, not Zcash. God, that thing sucks. Crow. So you can see here, Crow's been. Oh, I'm still on pen mode. Crow's been sort of all over the place. There is old Crow, right? Like, there is still the case that, okay, well, these are all higher highs, right? Like, higher highs, higher high here, like maybe it continues up. I'm sort of leaning against Crow continuing up. I don't think it's in a great spot. It might have another one of these sort of shoot ups, but if it does do that, I think that's a great time to sell out. If you've been able to sort of buy these dips, sell on the shootouts, that's fantastic trading. I think that's really all it's got left in it. I don't see CRO sort of rallying up to exponential prices. You can sort of see from the last cycle, it did sort of have that 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of movement. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's had a similar sort of price structure to it so far. I'll take this off logarithmic because it's sort of skewing what we're looking at, but we haven't really, since we're in this trading wedge, right? Broke out, broke down, since acted as pretty hard support. So I think I'm going to throw it out there. The ultimate bullish case for CRO is that, we somehow get back into this wedge and then shoot up. I don't think that'll happen. I think that's pushing out far too far, time frame wise. I think this token's more likely probably just to peter out and die, if we're being honest. But it's been a possible good trade this season. Like we're talking about buying these dips here in sort of the 5 cent range. It's still at 11 cents. So plenty of trading possibilities, but same thing, sort of long term might shoot up for a bit of a bull trap, but I think that's sort of it. Now, as for Sol, if we're just looking at this still in sort of the eyes of a bear, what we're sort of looking at here is possible lower lows early on, lower highs, lower lows. If this continues down to create another low, something like that, that is, quite concerning for Solana. Of course, same thing again, right? It could continue up, but just really looking time frame wise, sort of the price movement that we've had is important as well. Like, I know you might have just joined and gone, oh man, Solana's been sideways for years, this is accumulation, when in reality, it's already rallied substantially from the lows from $8, up and over $250 almost. So Solana's had a good run. Will it continue? In my opinion, probably not, but I guess it could, right? I'll play devil's advocate. I guess it could, but really I'm looking at it sort of lower highs, possibly continuing into lower lows, and entering a bear market. That sort of covers our thoughts for Bitcoin and crypto as a whole. I hope that sort of makes sense as to what we're looking at here. Covered, just the main stuff, of course, and a couple of other charts, just putting my thoughts out there. I could jump into some news and things that are happening in the economy, but I don't think that's too relevant right now. I think they're all sort of just affirming this case. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Hopefully we can start to get on the grind a little bit more with YouTube, but we'll see how it goes. So thank you all so much for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe button. If you aren't on my Twitter as well, go check out my Twitter. I'll just post like admittedly not often, but if you're looking for sort of more things in between the monthly analysis, it can be a good place to go. So check all that out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.